There were two other incidents involving airliners on Saturday. This video here showing an Air Canada Express flight on its side being hosed down by firefighters in Halifax, Nova Scotia after the plane had a landing gear problem on touchdown. The crew and 73 passengers got out safely. And in Norway, a KLM 737 was diverted after the crew heard a loud noise shortly after takeoff from Oslo. The plane landed in Torp and veered off the runway at a low speed. There were no injuries there. Gio?
All right, Will, let's go ahead and bring in ABC News contributor and aviation consultant, Colonel Steve Ganyard, because there is a lot to talk about. Steve, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. Let's go ahead and start with that South Korean crash, because authorities are pointing to this bird strike. We know that there were 5 minutes, right? We lost that flight radar data just 5 minutes before they landed and then crashed. What does that tell you? Did the pilots have enough time to even deploy that landing gear?
Yeah, Gio, you know, when we look at these mishaps, there's oftentimes clues early on in the mishap that would point us to an idea of what might have happened. There is nothing that we see in this video that tells us what might have happened. So we did see a video that appears to show that they adjusted a bird into the right engine. We don't know what other birds might have hit the aircraft, whether there was other damage to the aircraft. We don't know why they landed with the gear up. If you look at the airplane as it goes by the camera there, you can see the slats and flaps are up, so it landed very fast. It touched down way down the runway. Why was it going so fast when they had almost 2 miles of runway that they could have touched down earlier? So many mysteries here, Gio, and nothing from what we see makes sense.
Well, and Steve, all of these really big questions, how much are the black boxes going to shed light on answers?
Yeah, Rebecca, everything's going to get answered by the black boxes. Again, the video doesn't tell us anything. It just raises more questions. They'll want to rate out the black boxes fairly quickly here to make sure it's not something that's systemic to the 787. But at this point, there's nothing that points to the 787 as being the problem.
And these two other incidents this weekend, Steve, the one in Canada, the other in Norway, what can you tell us about those?
Yeah, well, there's no superstition among pilots that mishaps tend to occur in threes, but there's no correlation between these three mishaps. The one in Canada, that's an airplane that's had a known landing gear problem for a long time. If you see that fire there, that was confined to the engine, so people on board really weren't in any significant danger. And the one, the KLM incident, it was sort of should have been handled a little bit better, but they just dribbled off into the grass. So the other two incidents really were not serious. It was the Korea incident that was that's going to be the real problem and figure out why that actually happened.
Well, and of course, those 179 families waiting on answers for the Korea incident. Your heart goes out to them. Steve, thanks for that information this morning and for covering this with us.